This discreet attitude makes him reconsider everything in silence. Have you ever stopped to think about the power of a simple gesture? Sometimes it's the little actions that have the biggest impact, even if they're not immediately noticed. He watched her from the other side of the room. The way she moved, the way she smiled at others, everything seemed so natural. But there was something more. In a moment of distraction, she bent down and picked up a piece of paper from the floor that wasn't hers. The action was quick and without fuss, but the message it conveyed resonated deeply. That gesture of care, almost invisible, made him reflect on his own attitude. He remembered the times he ignored small details around him, the times he didn't care. The sense of urgency in his life made him forget how an act of kindness can transform the environment. The simplicity of that moment struck him like lightning. He questioned himself. Was he so caught up in his own concerns that he forgot to look at others? Her small attitude wasn't just about cleaning the space, but about showing that every person matters. The connection that a simple action can create is powerful. From that moment on, he began to realize the importance of being present, of caring about the small details. The weight he felt in his heart seemed lighter. He realized that being kind and attentive doesn't require grand gestures, but a willingness to look beyond oneself. Over the following days, he began to apply this new perspective. He smiled more at strangers, helped a colleague carry books, and even took a break to listen to a friend who needed to vent. These simple acts started to change not only his view of the world, but also how others reacted to him. What happened was surprising. He realized that by changing his attitude, the interactions around him also transformed. People started responding with more kindness, as if his behavior was contagious to everyone. He understood that small gestures, when practiced sincerely, have a positive domino effect. This new worldview not only brought clarity, but also a sense of purpose. He was no longer living in a cycle of selfishness, but actively participating in the lives of those around him. The change began with a simple act of kindness he witnessed, and now he felt part of something greater. In the end, this transformation was not just about him, but about the network of connections that formed. And it all started with a discreet attitude that made him rethink everything in silence. You too can let yourself be carried by this current of kindness. The choice is yours. He decided he wouldn't just observe, but also get involved. From that moment on, each day became an opportunity to act. He began to notice the small gestures that could make a difference. When entering a cafe, he held the door for the next customer. A simple, "Good morning" became part of his routine. At work, he spent a few extra minutes talking with colleagues. He asked how they were doing and listened attentively to their responses. This small act of interest made many feel valued. The team atmosphere began to change. Conversations became more open and collaboration increased. He noticed that people were more willing to help each other. A healthy work environment formed, which motivated him even more. These moments of connection started to spread. He remembered an elderly neighbor who always seemed lonely. One day he decided to stop and talk to him. He discovered that the man had many stories to tell. This interaction not only brightened his day, but also brought a smile to the neighbor's face. Over time, they became friends. What was once a simple exchange of greetings had now transformed into moments of shared joy. He also remembered a friend who was going through a tough time. Before, he hesitated to address these situations, fearing he might say something wrong. But now, he knew that what mattered was to be present. He called his friend and asked if he would like to hang out. This small initiative made all the difference. The friend, who was feeling isolated, accepted the invitation, and together they spent hours talking. He realized that the willingness to be there, listen, and offer support was something powerful. The change in his life started to reflect in his mental health. He felt less anxious and more satisfied. The focus on small acts of kindness had a calming effect on his mind. Instead of getting lost in negative thoughts, he distracted himself with actions that brought joy to him and to others. This new mindset became a refuge. He discovered that by helping others, he was also helping himself. Daily interactions stopped being superficial. He began to see people as complete human beings, each with their own stories and challenges. This empathy made him more sensitive to the needs of others. He noticed when someone seemed sad or overwhelmed and felt compelled to act. He would offer a smile, a compliment, or even practical advice. And by doing this, he developed a new sense of community. Over time, he became a beacon of kindness within his circle. People started to seek him out, not just for his willingness to help, but for the positive energy he radiated. He became a catalyst for change. When there was a heavy atmosphere around him, he knew how to bring lightness with a funny comment or a kind gesture. This ability to calm and inspire others made him understand the impact a single person can have. He remembered an upcoming community event. Many people were preparing to help collect food for the needy. He decided to get involved. He organized a group of friends, and together they went out into the streets to collect donations. What started as a small idea quickly turned into a bigger project, involving more people from the community. Seeing the unity and generosity of others filled him with gratitude. The experience taught him that kindness is not an isolated act, but a chain that propagates. Every gesture, every smile, every act of attention connects to another, creating an infinite cycle of positivity. He began to see life differently. Daily difficulties and challenges became easier to face. He understood that by focusing on others, his own life became richer. It wasn't just about being kind. It was about building a legacy of compassion. He decided that this would be his mission. He wanted to inspire the people around him to realize that small actions can bring about great changes. He wanted everyone to understand that kindness is contagious and that transformation begins with each of us. When he looked back, he realized how a simple, discreet act led him to rethink his life. He never imagined that such a small gesture could trigger such a significant sequence of events. Now he was committed to being an agent of change, aware that every action counts. The choice to be kind and considerate is not just a momentary decision, but a lifestyle. It's a way of seeing the world that enriches both the giver and the receiver. He has become an example of how the power of a simple gesture can resonate far beyond what we can imagine. And now he was ready to continue this journey of transformation, always searching for new opportunities to spread kindness. He began to notice that his efforts were not only changing his life, but also influencing those around him in ways he could not have predicted. Each small gesture he made seemed to have a positive ripple effect. When he offered to help a colleague with a difficult task, it not only lifted his friend's morale, but also inspired others to come together and collaborate. This attitude of mutual support started to create a more cohesive and productive work environment. The transformation extended beyond his workplace. He found himself in everyday situations where kindness could shine. In a supermarket line, he decided to pay for the groceries of the person in front of him, who seemed to be struggling to count their coins. The grateful smile she offered him was more rewarding than any material compensation. This simple act not only brought happiness to a stranger, but also lifted his own spirit. In the following weeks, he began to get involved in community activities. He participated in park cleanup events and charity fundraisers. Each experience connected him more to his community and made him feel like he was contributing to something greater. The desire to help became an intrinsic part of his identity. He realized that by dedicating himself to causes that mattered, his own life became more meaningful. Listening to the stories of people in need, he understood the depth of the struggles that many faced. Each story made him reflect on his own difficulties and recognize that, despite his challenges, there was always something he could do to help others. This new perspective alleviated the weight of his own concerns, making the difficulties seem less oppressive. He also realized that kindness was not limited to grand gestures. Small everyday actions, like offering a seat on public transport or just greeting someone with a smile, could transform a gloomy day into a bright one. These simple interactions created a network of positivity that spread like a virus, affecting more people than he could count. The impact of his change in attitude became evident in his personal life. Relationships with friends and family began to improve. He became more present in conversations, listening attentively and responding with empathy. People started seeking his company, knowing that he was willing to be genuine support. This new dynamic brought more joy and connection, strengthening bonds that had previously weakened. He also began practicing gratitude. Every day he took time to reflect on what brought him joy, even if it were small things like the smell of fresh coffee or the sunlight streaming through the window. This practice cultivated a feeling of contentment and satisfaction that had previously seemed distant. Gratitude not only helped him appreciate the present, but also connect more deeply with others. By sharing these feelings with friends and family, he realized that many were going through emotional difficulties. He decided to create a safe space where they could open up, offering a listening ear and words of encouragement. These revealing conversations not only helped others feel better, but also strengthened his own emotional resilience. During one of the meetings, a friend revealed that they were struggling with depression. Instead of downplaying the situation or offering quick solutions, he simply listened. This simple willingness to be present worked wonders. His friend expressed how relieved they felt to be able to share their struggles without judgment. That conversation solidified his belief that being kind and considerate can have a profound impact on someone's life. Over time, he became an advocate for mental health in his community. He participated in workshops and lectures, where he shared his experience about the importance of caring for emotional health through small acts of kindness. He realized that many were thirsty for meaningful connections and understanding, and he was willing to be the bridge. This journey of self-discovery and kindness led him to a new purpose. He began to think of ways to expand his impact beyond his immediate sphere. With that in mind, he decided to found a community group focused on acts of solidarity. The group met regularly to plan initiatives, from clothing donations to visits to nursing homes. Each event brought a renewed sense of hope and unity. The group's meetings were characterized by a spirit of collaboration and enthusiasm. He saw how the initial idea of being kind transformed into a movement. With each new member that joined, the chain of kindness grew stronger. People began to report changes in their own lives, inspired by the collective action. The group not only became a place for action, but also a place for mutual support and friendship. Looking back, he realized that the change began with a simple, discreet attitude. That act of kindness he witnessed in the classroom not only transformed him, but also impacted an entire network of people. He understood that by choosing to be kind, he was creating a legacy of compassion that could last for generations. Now, he was more committed than ever. Looking toward the future, he knew that each day was a new opportunity to make a difference. The power of a simple gesture could resonate far beyond what he could imagine. And so he continued his journey of transformation, always seeking new ways to spread kindness and cultivate a better world for everyone around him. He realized that kindness could be a powerful tool to unite people. Over the weeks, the community group expanded, attracting people from different backgrounds and stories. Each new member brought a unique perspective, which enriched the initiatives. The meetings became learning moments, where everyone shared experiences and discussed how they could more effectively impact the community. The group's first major action was a food drive campaign. With the support of local businesses, they managed to collect a significant amount of donations. The success of the initiative not only helped many needy families, but also strengthened the bonds between group members. He saw how collaboration generated a sense of belonging and purpose in everyone involved. While leading these projects, he strived to give everyone a voice. He knew that every voice counted and that the best ideas often arose from a diversity of thoughts. This inclusive approach made everyone feel valued and motivated to contribute. The positive energy that emanated from the group began to spread to other social circles. He also decided to include activities aimed at mental health within the group. He organized lectures with professionals in the field to discuss the importance of taking care of emotional health. These conversations created a safe space for people to open up about their experiences, and many reported finding support and understanding. This reinforced the idea that kindness is not limited to physical actions, but also includes emotional care. Over time, he noticed that his own life had profoundly changed. Interactions that were once superficial now became meaningful. He felt more connected to the people around him, and this connection brought a new level of satisfaction and happiness to his life. The impact of his actions began to be visible. Friends and family started to adopt the same mentality, and he felt proud to see how kindness was becoming the norm in his social circle. The transformation was no longer just individual, but collective. He knew that by promoting kindness, he was helping to create a more positive and welcoming environment. Reflecting on this journey, he understood that change starts with a choice. Every act of kindness, no matter how small, can create a ripple effect. And now, more than ever, he was determined to continue spreading this message. With each new day, he reminded himself of the power of a simple gesture and committed to being a force of positivity in the world. Before you leave, do two things now. Take a deep breath and hold on to what touched your heart today. And, if it makes sense, share this story with someone who also needs to hear it.